I'm Pamela Powell, film critic for the Daily Journal's Real Talk. Movies, everyone loves them. Opinions, everyone has them. But your opinion is the one that matters in reviewing films. That's what makes the Daily Journal's web series different. You become the critic for the newly released film. Now sit back and see if we agree on a film, or do we agree to disagree. Thanks for joining us for another episode of the Daily Journal's Real Talk. I'm Pamela Powell. The film Truth stars Robert Redford as Dan Rather and Cate Blanchett as Mary Mapes, one of the producers of CBS's show 60 Minutes. Back in 2004, Dan Rather was fired. Actually, he was forced to resign. And the movie Truth addresses why this happened. Mary Mapes and her team of investigative reporters put together information about George W. Bush's previous military record. It wasn't very favorable. Unfortunately, they put this story together in a hurried manner, which resulted in some errors. They lost credibility, and they were forced into resigning, and they were fired. I thoroughly enjoyed this film, and I'm wondering if my guest today, Gary Moore, will be in agreement with recommending this film. Gary, welcome, and thanks for coming back on the show.
Delighted to be here, thanks.
Now, I understand you have a little bit of a connection with this film or with this story.
I have a friend who worked in the office with Dan Rather, and he and I had a lot of conversations about what was happening behind the scenes and what was going on. So I have a pretty fair amount of information about what happened. Some of it you see in the movie, some of it you do not.
Those parts of his file they didn't like. They tossed in a wastebasket.
Do you have these documents?
I spent a lot of time talking to my friend who was there. And what he said was that Dan was somewhat innocent. He said he certainly has a grudge against the Bush family, which he's never really hidden. And so he was very, very eager to air a story that would be damaging to the Bush family. And so he probably did not do his homework because he was so eager. Mary Mapes, on the other hand, in her zeal to, satisfy, to impress a person who was her mentor, a person he idolized, was Dan Rather, provided information that she shouldn't have. If you look at the CBS's statement about the film, it's pretty harsh.
It is.
About the inconsistencies and the absolute fabrication. So as far as a piece of history, I think it's terrible. As far as a film, I thought it was incredible.
I really felt like it started off rather weak. I felt like this team of experts came together, that they hadn't really worked together before as a team, and I felt like they were on a witch hunt for George W. Bush. It wasn't until the story exploded in their faces, if you will, that I really felt like they came together, the pace picked up, the storyline was much more compelling and intriguing, and I thoroughly enjoyed it from that point. Tell me about Robert Redford's performance as Dan Rather.
I'm a fan, so I love Robert Redford. I thought he was incredible. And, I think the excellence of an actor or actress is when, after just a few moments, you look at them and they're no longer Robert Redford, they're Dan Rather.
I mean, some people are going to say it doesn't matter. One side or the other is always going to say you're being partisan, but you stop asking questions, and that's when the American people lose.
I truly thought that he was Dan Rather as well. In fact, when I got home from the screening, I went to my computer and Googled a picture of Dan Rather so that I had that comparison.
Tell me about your work.
You want to know if I'm responsible for what happened.
Aren't you?
Look, I did my job. Believe me.
And Cate Blanchett.
I thought she was outstanding. I mean, just the passion, the way she would look at Dan Rather, and the pain that she was obviously going through, the embarrassment, the humiliation. I thought it was just, it made you believe that you were looking at Mary Mapes.
My takeaway from the film is that you really need to be careful about what you see on TV and the news that you're getting. How skewed is it and how thorough is it?
I don't think that there is a news organization on the planet right now that doesn't openly display its bias, right or left. Okay. And it has just become to the point that depending on your bias, and we all have them, that's who we end up watching. They took Mary Mapes' book, which is her defense of her,
right,
and rather than doing a movie and a script based on the story and using the book as source material, it used the book as the absolute basis and foundation of the story. And that, to me, tells me that I think that the producers had a similar bias. But it was an excellent movie.
It was an excellent movie. Definitely highly recommend it as a film, maybe not as the whole truth, but somebody's version and perception of their truth.
Right.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Gary, for being on the show.
Thank
I really
you. It's always a
appreciate it.
pleasure. All right.
That's it for another Real Talk, the movie review show you can access anytime and anywhere. Be sure to check out previous episodes as well as all my movie reviews at the Daily Journal's website. That's daily-journal.com. Be sure to tune in next week when Kelly St. Aubin joins me to talk about Bradley Cooper's new film, Burnt. And Gary, that's a wrap.